Okay. So this is the video for Dragon Day 10, Block 1. So if you are in my Block 1, then you are in the right spot. If you are in my Blocks 2 or 3, then you're not in the right spot and you need to find the Block 2 or 3 video. Okay? This is Dragon Day 10. We are going to be looking at something new this go around. We'll revisit partitioning area with rectilinear models later, but for right now, we're going to go ahead and move on to a different way to find area, and it kind of has to do, I mean, sort of, with rectilinear area and the fact that you're splitting something, but you're not splitting such a complicated figure, okay? You're not splitting something as complicated. It's more straightforward. This is actually, I believe, easier than rectilinear area, simply because we've done this before. We're going to actually do, we're going to be distributing area, and it's kind of like the distributive property of multiplication, okay? So when I say that we're distributing area, well, first of all, let's do just a little bit of review right quick. Ooh, I hope that my iPad doesn't fall like it has been doing. But anyways, let's just review just a little bit. Remember that when we're finding perimeter, remember our two big vocabulary words for this unit is area and perimeter. And remember, when we find perimeter, we got to think about POA. It's like a math snake. It's not a boa, it's a POA, right? So the P stands for perimeter. The O stands for outside because perimeter takes place on the outside. And the A stands for addition because we add with perimeter. Perimeter is the one that we add. And then, can you remember what you're supposed to remember for area? Area takes place on the outside or inside? On the inside, so we do what? We multiply. Remember, and that's aim. Area is on the inside, and so we multiply. Remember that? And then let's also just remember dimensions. Remember, dimensions is just a fancy word for your length and your width. Now, when it comes to length and width, let's say I have a rectangle here. Five inches, 2 inches, you see that? Which one would be the length? Now remember, length is how tall, width is how wide. Length is how tall, width is how wide, right? So which one would be the length? The 2 inches, right? The 2 inches would be the length, and which would be the width? Automatically that has to be the 5 inches, right? So the width would be the 5 inches. Yeah? Okay, so that was just a little bit of vocabulary review for you. That way you have those words fresh in your brain. Also, don't forget, let's say that you have a rectangle that looks like this, that has these little squares inside. What do we call these little squares? These are called tiles, but they're also called unit squares or square units, right? Unit squares or square units. Okay, got it? Okay, so that is just some vocabulary review to keep that fresh in your mind. Like I said before, let's go ahead and talk about distributing area. And basically when I say distributing area, I mean you're going to be using the distributive property in a way, okay? I'm trying to see what kind of examples it's going to give you. Okay, so it looks like with this one, we're just going to be using tiling. So you're going to have tiles to deal with. And it looks like in Dragon Day 11, you won't have tiles. So, but we'll worry about that on Monday, okay? Right now, we're going to be distributing area using tiles, okay? And so here is what that means. Sorry, I got a text message I had to, from Miss Bolton. So when we distribute area, it's very similar, guys, to rectilinear models. But when we distribute area, let's say we have, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Like I always do. Let's say that we have a rectangle that looks like this, okay? To distribute the area, all you have to do is split your rectangle, right? And it's like you have two new rectangles, and what you're going to do is you're going to find the length and width for both of these rectangles, because when you split it, you broke them apart, right? So I could even redraw it down here. I'm not sure, I think that was tape. Ugh. Redraw it down here. And so I would make sure that this one had 3 going across and 3 going down. Like that. Do you see how I drew this shape here? And then here I'd have 2 going across and 3 going down. So 2 going across, 3 going down. Can you see that? So just like rectilinear area, the first step is to split your shape into 2. The second step is to draw out your shapes. Now we're going to find the dimensions. Now, what is my length of this shape over here? We have 1, 2, 3. 3 units. I'm just going to write a 3 because I don't have any room to write units on this small board, okay? What is my width of this new shape? 1, 2 units. I'm at 2. I have the length and I have the width of this one, so I can find the area. Remember, area, do we add or do we multiply? We multiply, right? So I'm going to multiply 3 times 2, the length times the width. 3 times 2 is what? 6 units squared. Remember, you always square area. All right? 6 units squared. Now I'm going to do the same over here with my second shape. What is the length? 1, 2, 3. It's 3 units. What is the width? 1, 2, 3. I have the length and I have the width. I have my dimensions. So now I can find my area, right? Area is length times width. So we're going to say 3 times 3 equals 9 units squared. Okay, so what I have done, you see that right there? Sorry. 9 units squared. So what I have done is I have found the area of this shape, and I have found the area of this shape. This rectangle and this square, right? So, what do I have to do now? Am I finished? I found the area of both of them. No, I'm not finished yet, right? I have got to now add my areas together. So what am I going to add together? 6 and 9. I'm going to do it over here. 6 plus 9 is going to give me what? 15. Not just 15, 15 units squared. Do you see that? Of course you don't see that. Look, 15 units squared. I added my two areas together. So guys, it's just like rectilinear area, right? Except for it's a little easier because you don't have to do all that extra with breaking apart the long one. You know what I'm talking about. It's easier, right? Okay. Let's see here. Let's just do one more example together. This is going to be a very short video because I feel like this is going to be easier for you. If you can do rectilinear area, you can definitely do this, right? And I'll do it. I'm not going to do one on the board anymore. Let's do, sorry, my iPad's acting up. Let's do an example in your Dragon Day 10 packet. So go ahead and get your Dragon Day 10 packet out, okay? Let's go ahead and do that. All right. And let's look at your number 1 here. Now, on this worksheet, it already splits it for you. So all it wants you to do is find the areas of both of these, and it wants you to add those areas together to find the area of the entire thing, right? So let's count our dimensions, because in order to find an area, we have to have our dimensions so we can do length times width, right? So let's find our length and let's find our width. And let's start with the top one up here. If I get my marker and I count these, my length is, now remember, length is how tall something is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my length is 6 units. 6 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got that? Okay, now let's find, if we found our length, now let's find our what? Our width. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 what? 7 units, right? 6 units and 7 units. Now, if this is 6 units, what does that mean this has to be over here? 6 units, right? And if this is 7 units, what does that mean this is going to be? 7 units. I'm just going to write it in it. 7 units. I'm just going to write it inside of it like that. Got that? Okay. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to find the area of this first one. Area is what? Length times width. So I'm going to have to multiply my length times my width. My length is what? 6. My width is what? 7. 6 times 7 is what? 42 units squared. And if I wanted to check that, I could count every single tile in this rectangle. That's how you could check it. I'm not going to do that because that's going to take a long time. Okay? I promise you there's 42 in there. Now, we found the area for this first shape. Now we've got to find the area for the second one, the bottom one, right? Let's find the length first. In order to find the area, we're going to have to find our dimensions first. So let's find our dimensions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is the length, because remember the length is how tall. So we're going to say 5 units. Now, if the width, we already have the width, right? Because the width is how wide, right? If the width is 7 units up here, what does that mean it has to be down here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 7 units. If the length is 5 units over here, what does that mean it has to be over here? 5 units, right? 5 units. Got it? Okay. So now we're going to have to find the area. How do we find the area? What do we have to do? We have to multiply. What do we have to multiply? Length times width. What is the length? 5 units. What is the width? 7 units. 5 times 7 equals what? 35 units squared. Now, am I finished? No, because I have the area for this shape. I have the area for this shape, but do I have the area for the entire thing yet? No. So what am I going to have to do to find that area? I'm going to have to add these areas together, right? So when I add them together, I'm going to be adding 42 plus 35. 2 plus 5 is 7. 40 plus 30 is 7. Yeah, 7. 77 what? Can I just put 77? No, I have to put 77 units squared. And I'm going to put A equals down here. Area equals 77 units squared. We got that? Okay, so that is all you have to do for my Alexa just talked to me. That was scary. That's all you have to do for 1, 2, 3 of your problems. 3 more of your problems. So you just got to do 3 more like that. Now turn with me to your second worksheet, which is right here. All right. This one, you're going to have to actually split it yourself. You're going to have to distribute it yourself. Distribute. All right. So let's just do the first one together. I'm going to distribute it. I mean, it can be anywhere. I'm going to distribute it right here. Hold on. I know you don't know where here is. I'm going to distribute it right here. You go ahead and do the same. Okay? So now I split it. That's my first step. I have 2 different shapes, right? I don't really have room to draw it on here, so I'm not going to make you draw it. You can just use this. I don't think it'll confuse you so much, okay? All right, so now that I've split it, now I have to find the what? I have to find the dimensions so that I can find the area, right? Let's find the length. Length is how tall? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 what? 8 units. Make sure I was right, just because. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'm right. And now let's find the width. Width is how wide, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 again. Let me just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, sirree. 8 what? Units. I have the length and I have the width of one shape. So what can I do now? I can find the area of this shape. What is area? Length times width. Area takes place on the inside, so we multiply. Remember aim. Remember aim. Area takes place on the inside, so we multiply. I'm going to multiply my length, which is 8, and my width, which is 8. 8 times 8 is what? If you don't know, you could do a set model or you could do an array. 8 times 8 is 64. Yeah, I'm right. It's 64, right? I'm gonna make sure I didn't tell you wrong, because Lord. 64 what? Ooh, almost. 64 units squared. 64 units squared, because we square area. We found the area for this one. Now let's go to this one. First we have to find the dimensions, right? The length and the width. What is the length? If it was 8 over here, what does that mean it's got to be over here? 8. You don't believe me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the width, 1, 2, 3. 3 what? 3 units. Now I have my length and width, so I can find the area. How do I find area? I multiply. Area is inside, so we multiply. 3 times, well, actually, it doesn't matter how you write it because of the commutative property, but 8 times 3 is what? 24 units squared. That is ugly. I'm going to 24 units squared. So I have 64 units squared, I have 24 units squared. Now what do I have to do? Do I have the area for the whole thing yet? No. I have an area for one shape and I have the area for another shape. So now I'm going to have to add these areas together. So I'm going to add... Oh. Actually, I want you to fill that stuff in too. That 8 times 8 and that 8 times 3. 64, 24. Yeah, do that. Add those in. I didn't even do that. You don't have to write it in these in the future. Use this. Okay. So I'm going to add 64 plus 24. 4 plus 4 is 8. 60 plus 20 is 80. Area is 88 units squared. Like that. So do be sure that you are filling this out over here, okay? Do be sure you're filling that out over here. All right. So this is what you have to do for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 problems. Okay, so all together you're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 problems altogether. I don't think that is too bad. And guys, that's our lesson for today. So I want you all to know that I have been getting your dojo messages, and I've been checking your work, and you all are doing awesome. If you haven't been sending your work through Class Dojo, please take a picture of it and send it to me, please, so that I can grade it and so I can make sure that you're on the right track, okay? As we do this distance learning, okay? As always, guys, I hope that you all are doing so super well. I hope that you are staying healthy and staying safe, and that you're enjoying this extra family time. I hope that these videos are helpful for you. You know that I miss you all, and I really hope that we do get to go back to school soon. That way we can finish the year together. Hopefully this whole coronavirus thing will be over soon. Guys, if you need anything, please, again, Dojo, send me an email. If there's any way I can be of help, I want to help, okay? Other than that, I hope that you all have a fantastic day. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. And I will see you again virtually from my house. This is where I live. I'm coming to you from my apartment. I will see you again on Monday. All right? All right. Love you guys. Bye.